In today's session of Divorce Court, Tippine Newsom says she refuses to live like Samuel's prisoner instead of his wife.
He didn't want me to go nowhere and do nothing. I sit in the house and gained 80 pounds. He called me fat.
I can't help because she got big.
If I went somewhere, Your Honor, and came back home, my whole house was tore up.
And now Tippine's sister has proof of his captive ways.
He came to my house one night. He got into bed with us and started picking with her.
No, I didn't get into bed with my wife. I got into bed with her sister.
And what was the purpose of doing that?
I wanted her to come home.
Today, Tippine Newsom tries to get back her independence as she squares off with Samuel Newsom in divorce court.
All rise. Court is now in session. Maybelline Ephraim presiding. You may be seated.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. This is the matter of Samuel Newsom versus Tippine Newsom. I understand that after 2.5 years of marriage, Mr. Newsom, you're ready to call it quits?
Yes.
Why?
My wife had left me when I first got diagnosed of cancer.
You diagnosed with cancer and your wife left you?
Yes.
Why would she leave you then?
I don't have no idea. When I got diagnosed, this was like, when I went to the hospital, it was about 2 weeks after that I started going through my chemotherapy. And she acted like, you know, she cared and, you know, she acted like she was concerned. But then after that, you know, everything was just gone after that. She started just acting all crazy.
Doing?
I mean, leaving that she'll leave me there knowing that I was sick, you know, go over to her sister's house, whatever, you know, she'll be doing over there with her ex-boyfriend. And so, you know, I don't understand this, you know.
How sick were you when she left you? Were you able to take care of yourself? Were you able to do anything for yourself?
Well, I was, yeah, well, I guess you could say that. I mean, I was, you know, in bed, you know what I'm saying? I was
How
on
long
all
have
this
you had your
medication.
cancer diagnosis?
2 months.
So in the last 2 months, your wife has neglected you and spent more time with her friends and family than you?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that what was going on in the past?
Yes, ma'am. That was even before I even got diagnosed.
So then it's not the diagnosis that's causing her to change? Mrs. Newsom, let me ask you. Your husband's diagnosed with cancer. 2 months after he's diagnosed with cancer, you're going out with somebody else?
No,
and you're
ma'am.
leaving him?
That's not true. First of all, when he was diagnosed with cancer, he stayed with his mother. And, you know, she decided to influence him to go down there with the cancer, better doctors or something. But before that, you know, our marriage was on the rocks because he was constantly cheating all the time. I would go to work and work 16-hour shifts, come home, women calling my house. I didn't even call him in the house with a woman before. He was controlling. He didn't want me to go nowhere and do nothing. I sit in the house and gained 80 pounds. He called me fat, talked about me all the time, you know, and it just got to the point where I couldn't take no more.
Well, you had to say to that, Mr. Newsom.
I cheated on her because she had cheated on me.
Oh, so we played tit for tat.
Yeah, I mean, I went with my reactions. I was hurt.
So she cheats on you and you go out and have an affair with somebody else?
Yes,
See,
ma'am.
I
And
never
where did that
cheated
get
on him.
you?
I never had the time to.
Did that help or strengthen the relationship or weaken it?
No, it weakened it.
Naturally. But what is it? She's saying that, are you telling me that your husband made a decision to go stay with his mother once he got diagnosed, or you made a decision?
No, he made it. To get a treatment that he could have gotten in the same town that we lived in.
So you felt that you were being left out?
The reason why I made that decision, because she wasn't caring. I needed somebody by my side.
Not caring.
Your Honor, I love my wife.
All right, so why did you think she wasn't by your side once you were diagnosed with cancer? You could go back home to your wife.
She was never there.
Where was she?
She was out. Going out on the weekends. She would go out during the week. I'll be there. I only see my wife.
That's not true.
But maybe 8 hours, I wouldn't even say 8 hours out a day because she was at work.
So
I
is
would only
this
see her
after
when she
both of
came
you
home.
had your little affair and had agreed that you were going to stay together?
Yes.
First of all, I hadn't had no affair.
So you haven't gone out with anyone else?
This was his assumption. I never had an affair to start off with.
What made him think that?
I mean,
because she was over there with her at her sister's house with her ex-boyfriend.
I work more than what he assumed I was
Did you
my
see
sister.
her over at her sister's house with her ex-boyfriend?
Yeah, I seen her.
And how often did you see this?
Every day. Every day
Did
he
he
was
live
over there.
nearby?
That's
He was staying with her sister.
Oh, he lived with the sister.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
wait a minute.
hold on a second. So you assumed that they were still seeing each other?
Yes.
So why are you smiling about it? Does that give you joy?
Because
no,
he
it don't
knows
give me
all
joy.
lies.
I mean, I'm hurt of it, you know? I'm hurt.
He's
So
lying
you're
about it.
saying that the marriage was rocky before you ever got diagnosed?
Okay, a month after we got married, he was cheating on me.
A month after you were married, he was with another woman?
That's
What's that all about, Mr.
No,
Mr. Newsom?
what that was about is she cheated on me first. So after that month, I went and cheated on her.
And then you felt that you were even with her, and the two of you got back to stay together.
We got back together. We had talked. She cleared everything up. She said that, we was going to get better. We was going to go to a marriage counseling. We was going to start going to church. So therefore, that stuff never did happen.
What's this about her gaining 80 pounds because she's sitting at home worrying about you,
Cooking
and
meals
then all
and
you
going
do
to
is
work.
talk about her?
I can't help because she got big.
Well, did you
know what I'm
talk
saying?
about it?
Huh?
Did you talk about it?
I mean, I talked about her because, I was hurting from the way she treated me.
Oh, my God.
You know what I'm saying? That's how I had to get my feelings out.
So
you know
you were
what I'm
getting
saying?
even?
Yeah, I was getting even.
And you didn't know any better way to express yourself. You don't seem to have any problem expressing yourself now?
I can't talk to my wife, just straight up talk to her. So to catch her attention, I have to,
say negative things about her.
negative things about her.
And then she listens.
And then she listens,
No,
which I don't
I think you were trying to make her feel bad. That's why you said the negative things.
No, that's what I was about to say. I wasn't trying to make her feel bad. I wasn't intending, to hurt her or anything like that. I was trying to get her attention.
But Mrs. Newsom, what you're saying to me about so you're saying I'm not leaving my husband because he's diagnosed with cancer. He left me and ran to his mother as opposed to his wife and didn't give you.
He knew I wasn't welcome there. His mama don't like me. I wasn't welcome.
So you couldn't go and take care of him if you wanted to. Is that what you're saying?
Couldn't call there. She called, scream my number out.
Yeah.
Mr. Newsom, what about that? She's saying it's not that I don't care about you and I'm leaving my husband because he's ill, but instead of letting me be his caretaker, being the wife, he ran home to his mother. And now I'm not even welcome in his mother's house. Is that true?
I had no place. Who was going to take care of me?
You could
she
stay
wasn't
at
trying
home
to take care of me.
Oh, my
my
God.
mother welcomed her down there.
Did you go back home?
No.
Yeah, I even tried to go back home, but I mean, there was another guy. There was another guy staying in the house with her. So how am I going to go back home?
When you were in the hospital?
When I was in the hospital, diagnosed, and I left her like 2 weeks after that. After I went home, man, she was screwing around with some other guy.
Mrs. Newsom, was that the news of his cancer a little overwhelming for you?
Yeah.
Did
his
you want to
mama
take
knew
care of
this.
him?
Yes.
But
when I was welcome to go to her house.
No, but I'm saying, did you say to him you were going to be too busy and you wouldn't have the time to take him back to his doctor's appointments?
I even rearranged my work schedule where I can work doubles and have 5 days off in a row to take care of him.
But she still wouldn't have been there.
I couldn't
She'd have been over
quit
to her
my
sister's
job
house.
because, he wasn't taking care of me from day one. I couldn't quit my job. I had to work.
How did you feel when you found out that he had cancer?
I was hurt because I don't understand nothing about cancer. I never knew nobody that had it. I was hurt. So
You
when
were
his
hurt
mama,
or scared?
Scared and hurt at the same time.
What do you mean by hurt?
Because the first thing came to my mind was he was going to die, so I was hurt that I was going to lose him. So, because I don't know nothing about cancer. So then when his mama talked him into going up there where she live at, I was like, well, why you can't stay home? Well, my mama said they got better doctors up here.
When divorce court returns, Tiffany's sister testifies about the night Samuel came knocking on her door.
He came to my house one night. He got into bed with us.
No, I didn't get into bed with my wife. I got into bed with her sister.
If you would like to have the judge hear your case in divorce court, call us toll-free at 1-877-311-2222 or email us at www.divorcecourttv.com. Divorce court is back in the case of Tiffany Newsom, who says she's divorcing her husband Samuel because he treated her like a prisoner instead of a wife.
Since you had this fear of him dying and you were about to lose him and you didn't know how to, you never knew anybody with cancer, did you also have a fear that you may not be able to take care of him and provide him with the medical attention and, cook and do whatever
my mama
that
was
you
willing
would
to
need
help
to do?
me. She was willing to go on vacation to help me take care of him. No.
But he chose to go home to his mother. And you just felt more comfortable with your mother.
Yeah, I'd rather go home anyway. But like I said, like I'm saying is,
but then
they
if you
had better
knew that your mother was not going to let her in your house, how did you expect your wife to be there for you?
Yeah, she was welcome. But the reason why my mother would say that because Tiffany, they always been into it. She would call down there, cuss out my mother.
So it's been an ongoing feud?
So it's been an ongoing thing.
Well, you said that he was too controlling and the marriage was already messed up. What do you mean by that?
He was controlling. He didn't let me go nowhere. If I went somewhere, Your Honor, and came back home, my whole house was tore up. I mean, everything.
What do you mean tore up?
The wall hangings, the tables, the whole 9 yards.
What would he do with the wall hangings?
Tear them, take them off the wall, tear them
Just destroy the house? Because you went somewhere? But he's saying that you were always at your sister's house.
But see, that's not true. I just now started going to my sister's house once I woke up.
So where would you go?
I would go to work.
And when you come from work, he's destroyed the house?
If he called there and they say I'm not there or I went somewhere, take one of the clients somewhere. He would tear up my whole house.
What kind of work you do?
I take care of disabled people.
So you're saying it's not the bone cancer that's causing you to you're not leaving your husband when he's down in sickness in his
because I
health is
tried
failing.
taking care of him while
After I
he
got
had.
diagnosed, I went back down there to talk to her. You see what I'm saying? This was like maybe a month later.
But you said you were always at your sister's house.
No.
Yeah,
That's
she
what he
was.
said.
She was. Yeah, she
He
was
lied.
always at her sister's house with her ex-boyfriend, which is her
Okay,
first love.
tell her
Well,
how
now,
when you came to my house and
Let me
visited
see.
me, how you
I
whooped
have
my
somebody
tail.
over there that keeps shaking her head. Are you the sister?
Yes.
Yeah.
Why don't you come forward and see if you can tell me this? Is this the sister's house you claim she's always at?
Yep.
What's your name?
Tequila.
And what's your tequila? Tequila. What's your last name?
Griffin.
Oh, okay. What do you have to tell me?
He's a liar.
Okay, other than he's a liar, what is he lying about?
Everything. I mean, they had problems growing up before he was diagnosed with cancer. But after he was diagnosed with cancer, she was trying to be there for him.
What did she do?
Like she said, she took off. She had her schedule rearranged, so she worked doubles for she can be there and cook for him and stuff. And then he talking about she comes over to my house. He was well enough to get out the bed to bring her to my house and drop her off.
So he brought her over to your house every day?
Yeah, he brought her to my house. And he talking about her
And was the ex-boyfriend there? He says the ex-boyfriend was living at your house.
The ex-boyfriend was out of the picture a long time ago. He was like high
that's
school
not true.
days.
Yeah.
So the
That's not
ex-boyfriend
true.
was not at your house when your sister was coming over there to visit you?
Yeah,
Yes, he
but he
was.
was there too.
Why is the ex-boyfriend at your house?
Because he's my friend and he got into it with his girlfriend, so he was staying with me for a while. He just because.
And your sister came over there every day?
No.
She even spent the night sometimes.
Can you tell me about anything else in this relationship you know
I
about?
can tell you about how her car got tore up.
What happened to her car?
He tore it up. He came to my house one night. He had brought her over there, and they both was there, and he left, and he went, I guess, got on his medication. He came back about 1 o'clock in the morning, knocked on the door. I let him in. She was in the bed with me because, like he said, her ex-boyfriend stayed there. He was on the couch asleep. She slept in the bed with me. He got in the bed with us and started picking with her. So she got up. They started arguing. I told him he had to leave. He went outside, started the car up, left it in drive, and just kept rearing up the engine for like an hour and a half.
Just revving the engine for an hour and a half?
I mean, I didn't do that an hour and a half.
I got papers.
only did
Yes, you did.
All right, Mrs. Griffin, thank you very much. Mr.
I got
Newsom, why would you do
papers
that?
No, I did that because out of hurtness. I was hurt because
What hurt would you made you do that?
I wasn't intentionally meaning to do that. I only punched on the gas maybe a couple of times.
How
but
long did you do that?
Maybe about 5 minutes.
5 minutes?
Yes.
Now, there's a big difference between 5 minutes and an hour and a half.
No, for real, I did it for 5 minutes because I drove. I
Just
kept
revved
driving
up
around.
the engine.
Yeah, I did it for 5 minutes.
And what was the purpose of doing that?
I wanted her to come home. I didn't want her to be over there with her
She was
ex-boyfriend.
in the house already with her. The sister said you were there. You went in the house. You saw your wife. You got in the bed with her. Then you went outside and started
No, I
revving
didn't
the
get in the
engine.
bed with my wife. I got in the bed with her sister.
Was I in the bed
But she
too?
was in the bed also. You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
He was in her ex-boyfriend, which was her first lover, was sleeping on the couch. I was just going over there and see if she was
And the
sleeping
ex-boyfriend
with
was
her
on the couch.
ex-boyfriend. Yeah.
So you went there and you saw where your wife was sleeping, and she was not sleeping with the ex-boyfriend. She was in
Exactly.
her sister's bed.
Right.
So then why did you go outside and rev the engine?
I was upset because she was over there. I wanted her to come home.
So how long did you say he was out there revving the engine?
About an hour.
No, I was out there for 5 minutes because she came out there and said, if you do it again, I'm coming out there
I
and
got
bust you in your
papers.
mouth.
Where's the car now? What does those papers tell me?
So
I
I
bring this
stopped.
up there?
I turned off the engine and she started busting me in my mouth. You know what
Did
I'm
you
saying?
beat on your husband?
Yeah,
no,
she
but
beat
he
on
beat
me.
on me plenty of times, ma'am.
Let me see that. What does this paper tell me?
It's just telling about my engine now.
Major engine work required.
The
Okay.
car
For
is still
engine noise.
drivable.
No, if it was
That car is
drivable,
still drivable, Your Honor.
I
It
wouldn't
only
be
had
having
a
no
loud
problem
So if
noise
it's
take me
to
still
to
it.
work.
drivable, why would she go get an estimate saying major engine work is needed? She just wants to pay out money?
I guess so.
Where's
'Cause
the
it's
car
not-
now?
it's still with the peoples. I can't drive it.
She
They
just
don't-
want a new car.
Oh my God.
That's
So you're
what the-
saying she's just making this up so she can get a new car?
Yeah, so she can get a new car.
I don't see the estimate of how much it's going to cost for this engine work.
Okay,
That's
well,
because the car's still running. They would have put an estimate if the engine was dead, Your
okay,
Honor,
well,
wouldn't
if
they?
it's still running, why I'm not driving it?
Do you have an estimate of what the cost will be?
No, I don't.
All it says is lower the engine noise and
They
needs
told
major
me it was
engine
going to
work.
cost
See,
me
that's what it was. It was just
$1,200,
the
and I
engine
told them don't
noise.
fix it because I don't have $1,200 to give them.
$1,200?
Yes.
Whose car is it?
Mine.
How much do you owe on it?
I still owe $1,200 on it.
So you owe $1,200, and
And then
it's
they
going to cost
still want-
$1,200 to get it repaired.
Yep.
I don't believe that. When it's still
So isn't that a
drivable.
coincidence that the amount you owe is the same amount that you're saying is going to
Yeah.
cost for
My
repair?
car was almost
to
paid
the
off.
penny?
Yeah.
So are you trying to get $1,200 to pay off the car?
Look, you can call the people if you want to. They will tell you.
I'm not going to call anybody. You brought me a piece of evidence to court, and all it said was major engine work, but it didn't tell me how much it was going to cost to repair it.
Well, when I get
usually
the bill,
when people give you a repair
estimate,
estimate, they give you an amount of the estimate. And the interesting part also on this estimate that you presented to me is that everything is computerized, and it says check engine for noise, and then there's a handwriting that says lower engine noise needs major engine work.
Okay.
In handwriting, but no estimate of the cost.
Okay, because I won't let them fix it. So they're not
I
going to
didn't
put
say
that on
let
there.
them fix it. They can still tell you how much it's going to cost.
They told
Estimate
me.
means they write what the proposed amount will be.
I don't know why they didn't.
I don't either. But you haven't brought me evidence to say it's $1,200.
When divorce court returns, the judge renders her verdict and an update on the case of Barbara Noel versus Bruno Noel.
I remember the first time I see her getting out of the room with a black pant, a black dress, and a black hat.
She looked good in it.
She was looking good.
I must admit, black does look pretty good.
You're looking good too.
Divorce court is back and the verdict is in the case of Samuel Newsom, who says when he needed his wife Tippine most after being diagnosed with cancer, she left him.
And the order of the court is you will pay for the damages to the vehicle which you caused by your conduct in whatever amount it takes. Now, if you want to find an auto repair person who will do it for less than $1,200 or whatever the cost is, that's fine. But you pay for that mistake, because that was just silly. And if when you get ill, it seems to me, usually most people go home to their spouse when they're coming from an illness. And to say that your wife left you at a time when you were ill, what did you expect if you go home to your mother and there's already this discord and disagreement between the two of them? How could she come in your mother's house and do for you what a wife can do in your mother's house? She can't do that if she's not getting along with your wife. So to try to make it appear that she's leaving you when you're down, that's not quite the whole story. Now, if you had gone home and your wife was out all the time and not taking care of you and not doing what she should do to assist you, then you go home to your mother who would provide the services and comfort and compassion to you. That's a different story. So the order of the court is that you will pay whatever the cost it takes to repair that engine. Court's adjourned.
When divorce court returns, an update on the case of Barbara Noel versus Bruno Noel.
I ask you the questions. You don't ask me the questions.
Oh, you want to know if you're going to let me finish?
You don't dare talk to me like that.
If you would like to have the judge hear your case in divorce court, call us toll-free at 1-877-311-2222 or email us at www.divorcecourttv.com. And now for an update on a previous case in divorce court. Barbara Noel said she wanted to divorce her husband Bruno because he only married her to get his green card.
I remember the first time I see her getting out of the room with a black pant, a black dress, and a black hat.
She looked good in it.
She was looking good.
I must admit, black does look pretty good.
You're looking good too.
You pressured me to get married before our wedding so that you could work. He got a big, huge raise, and he started hiding every paycheck from me. I just don't know how, within 1 month, you can totally turn away from a person and you can close your heart.
So is she right? Did you use her? Are things going better now?
No, she's
and
wrong.
you have your green card and you can move on?
Don't tell me you never argue.
I ask you the questions. You don't ask me the questions.
Oh, you want to know if you're going to let me finish?
You don't dare talk to me like that. You got that?
I've got it.
Barbara said Bruno was hiding his money from her. The judge ordered Bruno to pay Barbara $960 a month. Barbara and Bruno's house was sold, and he says she kept all the money from the sale of the house. And so far, Bruno has kept his secret savings to himself.
Oh, I think the judge verdict was good. I liked it. And, couldn't have gotten nothing better out of it.
I felt the judge's ruling was wrong. She ended up making me pay for it anyway, so I guess, I lost out.
I'm done with his family and him.
I feel like, she didn't even give me time to talk.
This marriage is over for me.